Okay, some breaking news now from the occupied West Bank. Israeli forces are currently conducting raids in Jenin Refugee Camp. There are reports of Palestinians being shot by the Israeli military, and locals are saying that there have been at least 2 airstrikes. Israeli incursions into the occupied West Bank have been at a near nightly occurrence since its war in Gaza began on October the 7th. Let's cross over to Zein, who's joining us now from Nablus in the occupied West Bank. So more raids, more nightly raids. What can you tell us about what's going on?
What we understand is, even by the definition, even by the standard of these nightly raids, very intensified since October 7th, very violent. This evening's raids, as far as we can tell, are even more intense and even more violent than we've seen in recent weeks and months. What we know is that in the last 3 hours or so, about 3 hours ago, Israeli special forces began this operation targeting a house in the Jenin Refugee Camp. They went in with multiple armored vehicles, dozens of troops surrounding this specific house. What we understand, according to the Israeli media, reports in the Israeli media, is that at least 1 airstrike was carried out. Israeli media reporting at least 3 Palestinian casualties in that house. That remains unconfirmed from Palestinian sources. We're hearing reports of multiple airstrikes being carried out at this time. There's also unconfirmed reports that when the special forces surrounded this house, that sparked confrontations, retaliation from armed fighters inside the camp. And in those altercations, there were Palestinians injured. We've seen video emerge of people bleeding, of being given first aid. We're also hearing unconfirmed reports that there may have been Israeli casualties, possibly helicopters used to evacuate them, landing in Jenin Refugee Camp, evacuating people out. Again, things are still developing. Clashes are ongoing. Confrontations are still happening now. We've seen video emerge of IEDs being used against military bulldozers. Israeli military bulldozers beginning to tear up streets once again, as they often do during these nightly raids that happen in Jenin with relative frequency. But again, this evening's raids, the use of air power, heavy clashes, air power being used by the Israeli military in Jenin, certainly not something that we haven't seen before, but rare. And the clashes tonight, intense and ongoing at this time.
Right, thank you for that. Zain Basravi there for us in Nablus.